everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the DC Multiverse Rebirth Superman figure. So before we take a look at Superman, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with the right arm of Clayface, and as you can tell, I already have him built, but he comes with the right arm there, and he only comes with two other accessories. He comes with alternate hands, and I am kind of afraid when I'm switching these hands out, because they're just pegs like that. They're made into the hand. They're not a separate piece. And I am afraid I'm going to break them if I put very much pressure on them. So I'll try to get them off easy there. Like I said, I don't want to break them. And he comes with alternate flying hands. I'm not really a fan of flying hands. I'd rather just have a pair of relaxed hands instead of just the fists and the flying hands. I'd rather have fists and some relaxed hands. So here's his flying hands. Let me pose them here. So, they don't look bad. I mean, does Superman still fly like that? Maybe he does. It's been quite a while since I've read a Superman comic. I think the last time I read a Superman comic was New 52. And what was that, back in 2011? Yeah, it's been a long time since I've read a Superman book. Or, instead of flying hands here, wait a second, you can have these be his dabbing hands. So, that is an option as well. When I got this figure, I was posing it around, and I was trying to figure out another way to pose him with these hands, and this came to mind. So, he includes alternate dabbing / flying hands. So, let's go ahead and switch the hands back here to the fists. Like I said, take them out really carefully. They feel sturdy, but that doesn't mean anything. Last time I thought figure's peg was sturdy, it broke in half, so it's better to be safe than sorry. So let's go ahead and put these back in here, and then we'll take a look at the head sculpt. Sometimes I have to look over my camera to get these right. So if I struggle for a second, I just look over the camera and then I get them right. Okay, so looking at the head sculpt, I think it looks really good. I think, well, I mean, the one eye's just a little bit smaller than the left. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good head sculpt that captures how he looks in Rebirth. He got his hair pretty good there. How that curl always hangs down. And his hair's sculpted nicely, even though it doesn't have any paint shading to it. I wish more companies would do that. The hair needs some shading. Like maybe a little bit of gray or something. But my only complaint with this head sculpt is the right eye is smaller than the left eye. The left eye kind of comes out a little bit. And this one's tiny. And as you can see, the head and the hands are cast in the same material, but the skin tone is painted on. And it's pretty noticeable, you know. You can definitely tell. Because they got it too, I don't know, too tan? Or maybe too light? Because his skin, he does look kind of tan. There's just a little bit of paint variation there on his cheeks. So maybe if they would have added a little bit of variation in paint, it wouldn't have been as noticeable. I don't know. The Superman insignia there, it came out really clean. I can't remember if he's still sporting this or not. I think he went back to his more classic look recently, because this was at the start of Rebirth. And I think he may be in his, back in his classic uniform, just the, you know, classic look. I can't be 100% sure about that, though. The logo was pretty much the same as the classic one on the New 52 one, except this time he had an armor on. And I like this one better. I like Rebirth Superman's design better. I don't know, I like that they took the trunks away. I was never a big fan of the trunks. The cape is also done really nicely. There it has the normal Superman logo, and it came out really clean. Even in the wrinkles there, it came out clean. That's one thing that usually doesn't happen. If there's a design and there's wrinkles sculpted in, usually the design, like the logo right here, in the wrinkles, I'd expect it to be missing some paint right there. But nope, came out pretty clean. And there's not really much more to go over on the figure. I mean, he has cuffs right there on his arm that's painted pretty good. And he has the belt that's sculpted on. And then he just has the line right there for his boots that's just painted on. Now, I'm pretty sure when this was shown off at, I want to say it was like Toy Fair or Comic-Con, whichever one it was shown off at, it actually used the classic, or, normal DCUC body mold. But when it actually came out, they used the new and improved mold, which still doesn't have double-jointed elbows, but does have double-jointed knees. Double-jointed knees. I don't know what I was thinking. And the hips. So this definitely has some improved articulation, like, say, from this one. Because this one has the normal, weird kind of swivel thigh joints right here, where it's just, it's not really at the thigh, it's really just above the knee right there. But the articulation is definitely improved on this. So now let's go over the articulation. Now for his head, the head on mine won't turn at all. Well, I mean, it'll turn a little bit, but it won't actually make that clicking noise if you try to force it anymore. So I definitely don't want to do that. I thought about cutting the peg down, but yeah, I don't want to damage it too much. In the Clayface wave, I had to cut down the Batwoman's head peg. It was really thin, and taking the head on and off was really hard, so I did do that. So when I do that review, I'll have to show that off. But I did notice with a lot of this series, the heads were pretty stiff and didn't want to turn a lot. I ended up boiling, I think, all of them to try and get the joints loosened up. That way I didn't break them. But Superman, it didn't help. His head just still swivels side to side. But he can look all the way up. And he can just about look all the way down. His chin does get in the way of that. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can move out all the way. He has swivel at the bicep, single-jointed elbow. And now, on his left arm, the elbow tends to be a little bit, it'll be stubborn sometimes. And if you can see, that peg's turning white. Plus, it's a really thin peg. So I try to be really careful and kind of support it with both hands when I'm moving that one. The right one doesn't seem to have that problem. It bends really good, but definitely pay attention to that if you get this figure. He has swivel at the wrist. He has an ab crunch that can move back all the way, and he can crunch forward all the way. He has swivel at the waist that can move side to side. He has ball-jointed hips that can do a complete split. And I like that kind of articulation, instead of those double swivel hips. These are actually ball-jointed, and he can do a complete split. He can kick forward all the way. He can kick back just a little bit. He has swivel at the thigh, double-jointed knee, which I want to say this is one of the first figures that used the double-jointed knees, but I really like that. And he has swivel at the ankle that can move up and down. I thought this was one of the figures that had ankle rockers, but I think they just started doing that with the Lex Luthor wave. So none of the figures in this series have the ankle rockers yet. Another thing I wanted to point out is his cape is really soft and rubbery, so it doesn't get in the way. The reason the other Supermans I'm going to show have fabric capes is because they had capes that got in the way. But I'm fine with this cape. It's actually really soft rubber, and it doesn't get in the way of any of the articulation, or it doesn't weigh the figure down like these did. So, for some size comparisons, let's show him next to the New 52 Superman. And this kind of looks like Superboy to me. Like, the head sculpt just looks a lot younger. Because I'm pretty sure this is pre-New 52 Superman, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I didn't actually read the Superman Rebirth arc. I've read Justice League, but I haven't read Rebirth Superman. But I'm pretty sure this is the pre-New 52 Superman. That's why he looks older. But I like the Rebirth look for him better. Here he is next to his movie counterpart. Let me get his head turned here. So there he is next to the DC, what's it called? DCEU version? DC Extended Universe version. And finally, here he is next to the DC Rebirth Batman. And we're getting pretty close to completing the Rebirth team. So overall, I'd highly recommend this. This is definitely a really good figure. Plus, this starts using the new articulation for Multiverse, so that's definitely a plus. I've always been a fan of Multiverse, but they did have some weird articulation, I will admit that. And this uses that updated articulation. So, I'd highly recommend it. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.